Hello to all my beautiful viewers out there. Today I'm going to be talking about the upcoming release of the Yeezy 700 V2 Inertias. So yes guys, the Yeezy 700 is getting another little bit of a treatment this September. We are getting the Inertia colorway, which we have seen before on the 700s, but it was on the 700 V1s. We're now getting another one, but on the V2s. Now in September, if you haven't noticed, that means we're getting at least two 700 colorways. We're getting the magnets, which got a early release from memory on Yeezy Supply, and now it's been delayed for a general release till I think the 11th, I want to say off the top of my head. I'll put in the description below what the actual release date is if it's not the 11th, but I'm pretty sure it's the 11th off the top of my head. Yeah, so we're getting the magnets this month. We're getting now the 700 V2 Inertias as well. Now, there isn't exactly too much to say about the inertias being applied to the V2 silhouette. The main difference between the V2s and the V1s when it comes to the Yeezy 700s is that the V2 upper is just slightly different. The tongue, from memory, on the V2s is actually attached to the upper all the way up until almost the end of the tongue, while the V1 tongue, from memory, is not attached to the upper of the sneaker all the way up until the end. It's only attached right at the bottom of the tongue, if you kind of get what I'm saying there. It just, they've changed it slightly, but it's not a huge change. But again, it was enough to spawn it having a V2 variant. And now that I've covered in the previous video the Adidas 350 V3s, it could possibly even get a V3 treatment in the future. I don't know. It's all up to Kanye. It's all up to Yeezy brand and Adidas if they're willing to do a V3 or not. But yeah, so in the V2 to V1s, there isn't too much difference besides the upper. The Inertia colorway has been applied to the V2 quite well. I do actually quite like it applied to the V2. My only thing is that I like the V1 because it looks more dad shoe in my eyes. I mean, you may disagree with me there. You may say the V2s look better than the V1s, but I personally think that the V1, the 700 V1, looks like a dad shoe of today, and then the V2 looks like a dad shoe of the future, if you kind of get what I mean. Like, I could see myself maybe 20 years down the track when I'm 40 and probably have kids. I'll be like, you know what? Now it's time to get some 700 V2s. By that point, they'll probably be like the V4 or V5 or something like that. But the V2s look a little bit too futuristic for me with the side panels and everything like that, and the way the color blocking's done. It kind of just, it's a bit too much for me. I like the V1s. I like how the V1s look. A mate of mine has the V1 Inertias, and I gotta say, they look super clean, super clean. But the V2s, they're kind of just not hitting the same points that the V1 hit with me with the Inertia colorway, so it's not really, you know, taking off as well with me as the V1 Inertias did. But in saying that, it's not hideous, because the Inertia colorway is really nice. The color palette that they've used, this like really pastel blue and greys with the hints of orange and yellow on the actual sole and midsole, it's really well done. They've done a really good job picking the colors for this colorway. But yeah, so as I've basically said, to sum it up, I'm not a huge fan of the V2s. The only time that I'm a fan of the V2s is basically when it's just like an all white or all black colorway, really. Once you start applying a little bit more color to it, I start to get a little bit turned off about it. I kind of prefer all the color being applied to the V1s now instead of the V2s. But I'm not against this release. I actually kind of like it. There will be some people out there that like the V2 more than the V1 and will want an Inertia being released on it, so that's totally fair. Like, I get that. I understand that. But I'd love to know if you're a fan of the V1 or V2 in the comment section below. Which one do you prefer? But yeah, for me, I'm going to stick to the originals, to the OGs, to the V1s. But I'm not fussed about the V2s getting an Inertia colorway drop. So yep, as I mentioned, it is releasing on September 7th for a retail price of $300 American. The 700s are actually quite expensive, all things considered. 300 is asking quite a bit for a retail shoe, but it's a good shoe. Honestly, the 700s, they look really clean, they're really nice. I wouldn't say that any of the 700 colorways that have come out so far are particularly hideous, that are just, you know, a definite miss when they release. I would say that if I was to receive a pair of 700s, I don't think I would say no. I think the 700s are a very nice shoe, either in V1s or V2s, but my obvious preference, as I've said before, is the V1. Yeah, no, I would like to see the 700s get a little bit more attention, because as we all know, if you've been following the Yeezy Adidas line for a while now, they've been dropping way too many 350s just over the past 2 to 3 years. It's just been too much, too heavy. It's like how Jordan Brand was a couple years ago, and still to some extent is now, when they just release like different color variations for Jordans that don't have any story behind them. I feel like having a story behind a colorway is a huge deal when you're releasing pairs of shoes, and I think that's why Jordan Brand can get away with it. Sorry to sidetrack it here from the whole Inertia V2 conversation, but I think that's why Jordan Brand can get away with like releasing heaps of colorways for like the Jordan 1 and stuff, and the colorways are only like loosely based on a story, just because it has that like little bit of story attached to the colorway is enough for it to sell well. While Yeezy, unfortunately, a lot of the colorways don't have stories to them, or if they do have stories to them, it's to like a certain version of the Yeezy, if you get what I mean. So the Inertia might have a story for the V1s, but there's no story on why the V2s are getting an Inertia colorway. It's kind of just like the V2s are getting an Inertia colorway because the V1s had an Inertia colorway. You know, like there's no, Kanye didn't wear the Inertia V2s while performing this awesome once in a lifetime concert. He didn't do this while saying something publicly that was really controversial. You know, like if Kanye was wearing the V2 Inertias while he made, like, I don't know, some kind of speech randomly at some kind of award show, like the iconic Taylor Swift incident, if he was wearing like V2 Inertias, this shoe's resale price would blow up. It would be huge. But that's what I'm saying. Like, this colorway kind of feels like it's just being released because they can, and that there's not much else behind it. So I'm not really feeling like the resale is going to be super high on the Inertias. I don't feel like it's going to be super sought after. I feel like, given some time, the Inertia V1s might be more popular and resell for more than the V2s. As long as they don't obviously restock the V1s or restock the V2s, if they just leave the releases to how it is. But yeah, no, I don't see a lot of hype being driven around the V2 Inertias. And just a couple final details before we end the video, guys. I thought I'd just say that I will supply any links that I have to the release of the Inertias in the description below for you fellas. So from what I know, you can get them from Adidas, you can get them from Essence soon, you can get them on a raffle on End, but any release websites that I can see that you can buy them from, I'll put them in the description below for you guys. But I thought I'd just mention that just so I'm not leaving you hanging, looking around where they're getting released, just so it saves your ass a little bit there. But yeah, no, I'll cover it for you. They'll be in the description below. Anyway, thank you guys. Thank you for watching today. I've now created a Discord channel for the YouTube channel and the Twitch channel. It'll be in the description below, so make sure you check that out. Now, as always, I want to know your thoughts on the Inertia V2s. Do you feel like this is kind of a justified release, or do you feel like how I'm kind of feeling, how the only reason the V2's got an Inertia colorway is because the V1s have got the Inertia colorway, and it's kind of lackluster because there's no story behind it? Are you feeling that same way, or are you like super keen for the V2s to get an Inertia colorway? Let me know in that comment section below. I want to know all your thoughts and opinions on this upcoming release. And that's all we really got to say about the Inertia V2 700s, guys. Let me know if you're keen or not, and I just want to say thank you all for watching. I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.